Today, we're jumping in to decode one of the biggest questions anyone new to Linux faces. It's a choice that seems pretty simple on the surface, but it's really about two very different ideas of how a computer should work for you.
All right, let's get right to the heart of it. If you've ever asked around for a good Linux version to start with, I bet you've heard the same two names over and over again, Ubuntu and Linux Mint. This is pretty much the classic first choice for every newcomer.
So you've gotten the recommendations, but now you're stuck, right? Because when you look at them, they seem almost identical. They run the same software, and everyone says they're both super easy to use. So what's the actual deal here? Where's the big difference?
To really get it, the first thing you need to understand is that these two aren't just random rivals. They're basically family. And once you get the relationship, all the other differences just click into place.
This, right here, is the key. Linux Mint isn't built from the ground up. It actually takes the core foundation of Ubuntu, the super stable, reliable, long-term support version, and then builds its own unique experience on top. It means they share the same security, the same stability, and yep, an app that works on one will work on the other. And honestly, this is the perfect way to think about it. Under the hood, the engine, the power, the reliability, it's all the same. But the way you actually use it, the dashboard, the controls, the overall feel of the drive, that's where they take completely different roads.
Okay, so let's get into the most obvious difference, that car body and interior. We're talking about the desktop experience. This is what you're going to be looking at all day, and it's where their different philosophies really shine through.
And what's so cool here is you can see those two design philosophies side by side. On the left, Ubuntu uses a desktop called GNOME. It's very modern, very minimalist. It definitely takes some inspiration from Mac OS. On the right, you have Linux Mint's Cinnamon desktop, which is all about tradition. If you've ever used Windows, you'll feel right at home in like 5 seconds.
Now, this isn't just about looks. This philosophical split actually affects performance. Cinnamon is just plain lighter. It uses about 25% less of your computer's memory when it's just sitting there. For you, that could mean Linux Mint feels noticeably snappier and faster, especially if you're on a laptop or slightly older hardware.
So, moving past the look and feel, we get to the thing that has become the biggest point of contention between them. It all comes down to how they think you should get your apps and software.
This is the core of the debate. Ubuntu, which is backed by a company, is all in on its own package format called snaps. They're easy, they auto-update, but they're controlled by a single company's store. Linux Mint? Yeah, they strongly disagree with this approach. So much so that they actually block snaps from being installed by default, preferring traditional software and a community-driven alternative called Flatpak. So why should you care? Well, it can pop up in little annoying ways. For example, the Firefox web browser on Ubuntu is a snap, and it's pretty well known for having a little bit of a delay when you first open it. It's not a deal breaker, but it's a small frustration you just don't get with the version that comes on Mint.
Now, let's talk about what many people call Mint's killer app, especially for beginners. It's a tool called TimeShift. Think of it like System Restore on Windows or Time Machine on a Mac, but for your entire operating system. It's baked right into Mint, but on Ubuntu, you'd have to go find and install it yourself.
And here's the brilliant part. Mint actively encourages you to use it. Before you install a big batch of updates, it'll actually prompt you to create a quick system snapshot. That way, if any update causes a problem, you can just roll your entire computer back to the moment before you clicked Install. For someone new, that provides incredible peace of mind.
Okay, so we've got the desktop experience, the software debate, and the built-in safety features. With all of that on the table, how do you actually pick the one for you?
Ubuntu is probably your best bet if you're drawn to that sleek, modern desktop and want something that feels new and different. It also tends to have a bit of an edge with super high-resolution screens and a big one. If you're a developer or you plan on working with servers, Ubuntu is the industry standard. On the flip side, Linux Mint is the absolute perfect choice for anyone leaving Windows. The interface will feel familiar from the second you boot it up. It's for you if you'd rather have more user control over your software, and if that idea of a built-in undo button for your whole system sounds really, really good.
So you see, in the end, it's not about which one is better. That's the wrong question. They're both running on the same fantastic engine. The real question is which philosophy fits you. Do you want the modern platform or the traditional desktop? The corporate-backed vision or the community-driven one? There's no wrong answer, just the one that feels right to you.